manufacturing, technology, hot topics, and a little bit of tomfoolery. This is the MTD Podcast.
Well, hello. Welcome to another MTD Podcast. By my reckoning, this is episode 13. I'm joined by podcast virgin, Mr. Mark Deadman. Welcome.
Well, 13, unlucky for some.
Yeah, me, yeah. And a good friend of the show, Mr. Shane. How are you?
Good, thanks.
Yeah, Shane Kelly is professional racing driver for the University of Wolverhampton. Is that correct?
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, so if we just start, just tell us a little bit about yourself, if you will.
I'm a pro driver for University of Wolverhampton Racing, so UWR. We run a motorsport engineering degree at Wolverhampton, based at Telford campus. That's where we have our engineering is sort of satellite campus. And really started motorsport there in 2015, end of 2014. And really, we want to offer a great hands-on experience and next to the degree, really to give students the best opportunity to get jobs in motorsport and engineering.
Shane, for those guys that don't know what series that you actually race in, what type of racing do you do?
So we actually do a couple of series, actually. Our main one is Formula 3, F3 Cup. So F3 Cup UK-based championship, run by the MSV, and it runs alongside British F3, GT Cup, that sort of circus if you go around, mini challenges, and we actually piggyback different events as well. So, but F3 Cup's really quite popular. It's real F3 cars. They're slightly older than the British F3 cars, which are coming through, but the technology is in them cars right up to 2017 now.
So when I was in academia, the only racing we knew probably was Mario Kart. So just looking around the three of us, I would say I'm probably Bowser. Fast, but it takes me a week to get there. Shane's probably the Mario, the good one.
Oh, definitely.
I'm guessing you're Princess Peach, yeah?
Definitely, yeah, I've got all the bananas.
You drive like a woman. But yeah, no, so how are things at the uni? I know you're a racing driver, but you get involved in a lot more than that, don't you?
Yeah, it's very busy at the moment. We've had a plan since the start, really, to build a team up, to offer the best package for a student to go out racing, to get that hands-on experience in industry, but in-house, if you like. We offer the F3, the Morgan Challenge as well, which we are a Works Morgan team for the factory, and Formula Student as well. So most universities do Formula Student as well.
So that's fairly unique, if I'm not wrong.
Having being a Works team.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's brilliant to be linked to such a traditional British car maker, and I think you've probably seen on the news lately it's gone from strength to strength really with their investors as well. So that only makes it good for their technology into cars, and all the crash structures they have to have. Probably small car companies will have to have in a couple of years.
So am I right in thinking that the young learners at the university they're actually working with you to actually make the car happen?
That's right. We actually run two cars in the Morgan Challenge, which are +4 club sport cars, and they're driven by sort of gentleman drivers in the challenge. But we also send our students to the factory to go on the production line, look at every stage of the build of a road car, and it really sort of complements our automotive side into motorsport. So, and then they come racing with us, running out of UWR with the two challenge cars.
Right.
And see that end of it as well. So they're really sort of right from the road car through to the racetrack. And we do offer, and we have done some development for them. I actually tested for Morgan as well out in Spain a couple of weeks ago, and really looking at their new platform. There's a lot of power to put down now through a wishbone suspension rather than a traditional ladder chassis with a sort of aluminium wooden monocoque sort of thing. So really exciting stuff happening with the factory there.
And presumably, these people that leave university, leave academia, they're going straight into decent jobs, aren't they? Because obviously, traditionally, you go and do an engineering degree, or it's very rarely you'd get a motorsport engineering degree, is it? So presumably, they're getting good jobs when they leave?
Yes. You're really coming out with 3 years of really hands-on experience, dealing with racetracks, dealing with suppliers, dealing with factories, and dealing with ups and downs, really. That's life. When you get your driving license, you can't really drive, can you? you can come out with a bit of paper, but you
Joe
can't.
still can't.
Yeah, well, you beat me to it then, Mark. You beat me to it. If you try, his indicators don't work. Something about his German cars, Mark, and indicators.
I'm a taxi driver. You signal when you've gone round the corner. That's the idea, isn't it?
Yeah. So in academia, what are they learning? Are they actually allowed to build any part of the car or make any prototype components for the car?
Yeah, you find a lot of the students use what they're signed up for, because the motorsport we do is extracurricular in a way. So they can sign up for Formula 3 for a year, then do Morgan, then do Formula Student.
Right.
Or some choose to do Formula 3 all the way through, or Formula Student all the way through, or Morgan the same. So a lot of the students have now attached themselves, or the final project, to an element of that aerodynamics, the front wing of the F3, say,
Right. Yeah.
and really study on that, build a 30% model for a wind tunnel, and really see how you can develop that front wing. And that's any information we can really gain from the race team as well.
Sure. And again, you'd normally, I presume you're doing that when you're in a job 4 or 5 years into a job, aren't you? But these guys are hitting the ground running. They're going, leaving academia into decent jobs, excuse me, with a lot of experience. More importantly, what happened to the Toad when it broke down?
Toad.
It got towed away.
I think it was
These guys from Wales.
That's as good as it gets, I'm afraid.
But sort of coming back to the engineering side, how many sort of academies do actually go around the country that young learners are actually sort of working on sort of high tech machine tools like DMG Morris, for instance? The monoblocks. They're working with CAD/CAM systems. They're working with metrology inspection, CMMs, etc. But the whole idea is for them to actually hit the floor running, ready for a job that they can actually hit, program on the shop floor. And I think back in our day, Joe, or certainly my day, is that it's more from the point of view of, taking an apprenticeship on, and then for 2 years later, they've got something, they want a bit more money, and they've gone to Rolls Royce or something.
Yeah, sure. So up at the Telford campus, I look at it, it's almost it's more of a job than it's more of a career than a course, isn't it? Okay, it's a degree, you got to pay to be there, but it's like a job, isn't it? It's almost like the best apprenticeship you can possibly get, really.
We see students come in and they've typically come to the racetracks and watched half a season as a spectator before they start their degree. So they're really serious about coming into the race teams, coming to University of Wolverhampton and at Telford, and they join up, and they live on campus if they're from down south, and actually, like you said, they treat it as a job. They're not messing around. They're not going out drinking. They know they've got 17 rounds of F3 to do.
Is that not all you do at university? Do you not just?
Did you not go to university?
Unfortunately not. Unfortunately not.
You didn't go to University of Wolverhampton.
No, quite. I may have done if it was there at the time.
What I'm quite interested in, I mean, I got involved with motorbikes and raced motorbikes at 600 motorbikes and everything. It was like a bit of a team in the rookies side, because you got the thousands there, you got 125s, and if you did have an accident, everybody would actually help out to give you a part. Now, what happens? They say you're racing, you have a bit of a shunt, not necessarily your fault, and you haven't got a part to actually take part in the next race, or you've been practicing and you need to get back on the track. Do you then go back to the actual university and say, look, I need this part, get it to wherever you be?
Yeah, we obviously carry spares that we do manufacture in-house as well. We're lucky to have amazing facilities at Telford with the autoclave we have, the wind tunnel, we have all the weld shop, fab shops, and the CNC, the Herco machines we have there as well. So really lucky to be able to really just crack on with a damaged car when we get home and make them parts, right down to suspension, repair bodywork, carbon, right through to anything else really on the car. There is some parts you have to look at, and we have to go and get probably more electrical side for the Lara side of things.
Okay. It was quite interesting because myself and Gio recently, we went to McLaren, and I didn't realise they've got 700 people that actually work there. So you look at the array of cars over the years and some fantastic icons like Prost and Senna, in their cars. But, we had the privilege to actually see Alonso's Indy 500 car actually starting to be built. And it really just starts off as a cockpit, isn't it, basically?
That's right. Yeah, it's that, and that's really probably where the stage we just got away from actually a few weeks ago with the F3 car from the winter build. So it's right down to monocoque, it's crack checks, it's everything repainted, and it's it's quite an in-depth field.
In terms of technology, I've been there a number of times to the campus. What do you offer? What technology do you have on site?
It's varied, I suppose. When you look at so many disciplines of engineering in the building, we have metrology labs, we have the CNC machines, we have an autoclave. Really excited about the 30% scale wind tunnel going in, and it's nearly there. And we have robotics, we have mechatronics, so all the way up to additive layer stuff upstairs. So. Yeah,
there can't be many universities that print metal. I know we talk about 3D printing and additive manufacturing a lot on various shows at MTD, but there can't be many unis actually sticking it on cars. I know it's on the form of the student, excuse me, they're actually printing manifolds.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen any sort of university or college with 3D printing or additive manufacturing metallics. It's fantastic. I mean, we see a lot of these being in the field now, Joe, don't we? With a lot of smaller customers that you don't necessarily think that they're going into that, but that's the future. I mean, just a question: would you know how many parts on your car are metallic compared with either 3D printed or carbon?
No, by the sounds of it.
No. It's carbon side, so carbon fibre, basically F3 regs are like carbon fibre monocoque, and wings are allowed, and everything else would be a black glass sort of composite material, side pods and floors and things. So mainly suspension and any add-ons to sort of holding dampers, things like that. So gearbox. Yeah,
I suppose you can't really do too much with the engines, can you?
You can look at manufacture, so you can move manufacturers. There's 2 or 3 or 4 manufacturers out on the grid now. It's dealing with that manufacturer. F3 is quite a high-end sort of sport, as in it's pretty underpowered compared to the aerodynamics you have, but you can try and gain as much speed as you want. But it's underpowered really. So if you gain that extra mile an hour, and that the development is really with the manufacturers. So
okay, so in other words, things like downforce, for instance, it's all about the wing technology to a certain extent.
It is, yeah, and that's something we're starting to look into more with our car. We're in an 0811 car, which is, I suppose you could say, aging a little bit now compared to the 12 right field 17 cars, which have now been allowed in. We still think this is the best package to have, the 08, but we started looking into front wing. We know with the Honda package we have, we're running a slightly higher centre of gravity. So really the technology we have around Telford, we can start looking at the wind tunnel stuff, like I said, look at how we use the front wing, how we use the rear floor better, and maybe making parts. We have actually made parts underneath the rear wing and the front wing as well, but how we can enhance that and get the car stable mid-corner.
Yeah, well, and one thing which I noticed today, I mean, obviously you work out a lot. This isn't a chat up line, to be fair. It's more from a point of view. You take this seriously, don't you? You obviously work out in the gym, and I suppose that's the testament, isn't it, to the whole package. Working with a university, and all those young learners are putting a lot on the line as well, aren't they?
That's right. They're putting a lot of time in, a lot of effort to balance their degree work to actually going racing as well. It's all experience at the end of the day, and it's all great for the CV when you finish, but you need to balance it.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of effort. Myself, yes, and you put a lot of effort in. We run such a narrow fuel weight as well, so we want to finish with the least amount of fuel as possible, but just enough for a sample. So for me, that gaining a few kilos will give me less fuel and less of a buffer. So
there's important. No chance in Joe getting in the car then?
Do you know what? We're 13 minutes in, and that's the first weight-related joke. That's a record. Episode 13, it's the first one.
I wasn't talking about your broad shoulders. There's not a lot of room in those cockpits, Joe.
No, I don't think I could do the single two-seater, but with just a seat in the middle. Was it McLaren F1, was it, where they had one seat in the middle?
Allegedly.
Yeah, that would do me. But so obviously you rely a lot on sponsors. How does that work?
It's grown. How many sponsors we have? Obviously, starting from zero in 2015, you're an unknown outfit. You're not sure. People are not sure what you're doing. You're a university having a go at it, and based on the knowledge I've had before seeing colleges and universities, fair enough having a go and doing it. at race day, it always looks a bit of a shambles when you see a college or a university, leaking oil out, or things missing or things coming off. And I think, fair play for doing that and offering that course. It's still going out there and it's still solving problems. But I wanted to sort of take it away from that with the University of Wolverhampton, and the best way was to do it right, do it professional. And one of the things is we wanted to gain sponsorship to be self-sufficient, as in running Formula 3, and that obviously helps budgets. So we are actively taking on sponsors. We have 25 to 30 sponsors on the car, and not all cash as well. The beauty of it is we have all these technology here at Wolverhampton, and it's important that we have the machine tools, we have all the composite material, we have the laser cut parts, and that adds up, and that's actually more value than money, really. And and the great thing is as well, we let the students contact them suppliers as well, and look at, and send their designs, send their CAD files to them, and get parts parts made. So it's
all branding longer term, because you don't know where these young learners are going to actually end up, and they could be making choices about what packages they buy. And one thing I was going to say is that when I was racing 600 super sport motorbikes, when I got to the best I could actually get to, which was
about turn one.
No. That's on the front wheel. But the amazing thing is when you get that good, and you get from sort of 40 guys, you're getting into the top 15. That difference between first and 15th was a half a second.
Yeah.
And the difference is much younger guys didn't really give a damn if they was going to hurt themselves, and Daddy had a big pocket in reference to the bike that they had.
Was that you?
No. No, my dad didn't like me racing, if I'm honest.
Anyway, little birdie tells me we're being challenged for a go-karting day against the university.
Oh, have you?
Yeah, so little birdie tells me.
Yeah.
So how are we gonna balance out the?
Well, Mr. Jones is quite good at his karting. If
you think so, he tells you that, but do you actually think so? Have
Well,
you not been karting with him?
Yeah, well, what he tends to do is just ram you into a corner and feels like he could win that way. But obviously that builds aggression, and you go back at him and really, make him look quite silly.
Yeah, going back to Mario Kart, I think we need a few red shells to knock Shane off course, don't we? And Princess Peach to knock him into the corner.
I've got a plan B. There's someone that I know that could, take him on.
Sandbags?
I think there's someone that we could bring into the team and actually give you a little bit of a.
I'm always up for a blast.
Okay, all right, we could work that out.
Cool. And just finally, it's I know you do a lot more for the university other than driving. So, what's your general day look like? Get up, go to the gym. I know all that, but when you get to work,
stop talking about yourself, Joe.
It changes. It does change day to day, and it's important that we keep the course interest, and we attract students and get and really advertise what we do, because I think it's still quite unheard of, really, when you think about it all. And the success we've had, it's still, people still live on the roundabout just outside of the university and still don't know what we've done. So it's really getting local awareness is one big thing, and UCAS events, getting telling people about what we do. So that's a big part of my job, going out and being an ambassador for it, I suppose, for engineering, putting a race car where it's not meant to be, and people will flock around it. And
talking about success, though, Shane, is that how many guys are on the grid?
You're looking around 15 to 20 up and down the season.
And for the last 2 years, where have you finished?
To P2, P3.
Wow. Incredible.
So we hit the ground running, really. We want we had a good base to start with, and it's just like you said with the bikes. At Silverstone last year, we were the top 5 are covered by a 10th. So
really,
it's close racing. So
should you not have a bald head then? In that case, all this weight counts, surely.
I think you're beyond that.
Yeah, no, so anyone who does want to get involved, either they've got children or maybe listening to the podcast themselves, interested in motorsport engineering, want to learn more, or a sponsor looking to help out at the university, how can they get involved?
I think the best thing is look at the social media and what we do, firstly, and it's at UW Racing, that covers a lot of things we do. It shows what day to day what we do as well. It shows the events we're looking at. It shows, I suppose, like you said, my day and how that goes, and it really shows the activities we do once the season started and a bit of history of what we've done. So yeah, have a look at the social media first, and then the university website will be on there.
And you say P2, P2, P3, 2019?
I think we always go out to win, always, and I think this year will probably be our hardest year on the grid. They're very competitive with new cars as well.
Yeah.
But I think we've got that a bit more knowledge again. I say this every year. We've got more data. We've got more knowledge. But I think we know where the sweet spot is. And last year we had some bad luck being hit or engine issue. But we actually look at the average of how we done last year, our top speeds and our speed across the season. We should have been right there at the front, which we were. 3 ways into the last round, which get cancelled through rain. So, the closest championship fight in history in the championship. So we're there. We're at the sharp end. We just need to keep consistent all through the season.
Yeah. Okay. Well, good luck for the coming season. Beyond all, stay safe, and thanks for popping in.
Thank you.
Yeah,
thank
thanks,
you,
Shane.
Mark, and thank you for listening at home.
Thanks, Joe.